Let's take a trip together to the Dollar Tree to grab some supplies to make some DIY Christmas crafts. So before we walk in, hello everybody! To start us off, we have this plastic ornament with a screw-on lid, and immediately getting jump scared by this horrifying Santa mask. Moving that out of the way, thank you. There's these giant plastic Christmas baubles that I really liked. And while these wooden trees were $5 instead of $1, I needed to decorate one of them. Because look at this garland was just made for that tree. And these adorable little decorative bells, I'll take that. And could always use some stickers. There are some pom-poms that came in assorted sizes. These were sparkly while the others were plain. They still cute though. These are some vase fillers that were in such a pretty shade of green and red. And these little sparkly berries were one of my favorite things that I picked out, even though I absolutely struggled to get them off the hook. It's freed, and you're mine now. These mini presents were too freaking precious not to get, and the mini bows to go with it. Super cute mini bottle brush trees. And can't forget about picking a topper for the wooden tree. To set some of those winter scenes, grabbing a bag of glitter drape and some faux snow. And what's a Christmas scene without some glitter ribbon, and yep, some more garland. I'm so obsessed with these Christmas miniatures, so I grabbed one of those. And I thought it was just so cool to find all these little LED lights there. And if you didn't have the batteries for them, then they had those too. Alright, now that we're back home with our treasures, it's time to get started on crafting. Whoosh! So our three main projects will be this large and small ornament, and this wooden Christmas tree. So let's start off small and begin with this mini ornament. Taking out some scrap cardboard, I'm going to take off the lid and trace a circle. I was going to use a permanent marker at first, but I decided to use a pencil because I didn't really want to mark up the lid. Although honestly, it was not going to matter in the end. I don't know, I just wanted it to still be clean. Although me at the time did not know that it was not going to matter, so, you know, oh well. So anyways, I traced out 2 circles and cut them out. And they were still too big to fit inside of the lid, so trim them a little bit more, and perfect. It fits. With just enough space to be able to still screw it on. Now I'm just going to paint it white so it blends in with the fake snow I'm going to add. I didn't buy any dollar store paint because it would have been a waste since I have so much, but they do sell it at the dollar store. And now that it's all dry, I'm just going to hot glue them on together. I didn't see any glue guns at the dollar store, but I did see some glue sticks. Moving on to the glitter drape, I'm going to be using just a small amount of this to cover the cardboard. So laying it paint side down, I then folded it over and cut off the excess. And as best as I possibly could, I tried to just hot glue it all together. Like I said, it's okay because you're not going to see it in the end, you know? Only we know that mess is there. Shh, keep it a secret. Now we're going to bring in some warm white LED lights. Using the slit on the top of the lid, we're just going to use a little bit of pressure, push them in, and then snake them through. Using one of these gold glittered bottle brushes, we're just going to take the lights and start wrapping it around the branches. There are a few different sizes in the bag, so I used the smallest size that there was. And if you didn't have something to seal the glitter, just be prepared to find some fairy dust in your house for however many months, years, decades. But for some easy cleanup, just use a lint roller. Grabbing the sparkly mini pom-poms, we're just going to use the smallest ones in the bag and stick them onto the tree. You can use some hot glue on this if you want, just to make sure that it's really going to be secured, but it seemed like the branches held on to them pretty well. Now on the bottom of it, use some hot glue and then stick it onto the lid. Now because the fake snow wasn't hot glued onto the cardboard, it was kind of flopping a bit, so I just decided to cut it and then hot glue inside of the hole and then press it down. And now my favorite part, bringing in the mini figurines. Honestly though, for dollar store quality, the paint on this wasn't too bad. A little wonky, but still really cute. And like before, cut the hole, more hot glue, and then stick them on. Oh, and also give him a little pom-pom ornament too. And one of the prettiest decorations in my opinion, these small berries and some regular pom-poms. Using just one of the berries, I'm going to cut off the wire and then get that secured on the lid first. And then around that, I'm going to be using multiple of the little white pom-poms. And after sticking them all together, we have ourselves a snowball mound. But to add a bit more to the scene, let's add some faux snow. This fills in the gaps and looks way better than just using the snow blanket. Okay, so now with these long angled tweezers, I'm going to be using them to start placing the lights along the top of the container, and using some tape to secure it. You might be able to find it at your own store, but I couldn't find tweezers shaped like this at mine, so I did find some for pretty cheap on Amazon. It was around $4 at the time of purchase, so if you're looking for something like this, I can link an affiliate link in the description box below. But to get the remaining lights in the position that I wanted them to be in, I twisted the container a bit before completely screwing it on. Next, bringing in the glittered stickers. Just going to be using the row of snowflakes, and I'm just going to carefully place them around the top, not completely sticking them on at first, just so I can position them correctly, and then I can flatten them all down. Using some silver glitter ribbon, I'm going to take this and hide the container lid. Since the hot glue tends to cool pretty fast, I did it just a little bit at a time. And to pair with that silver ribbon, I'm going to be taking some gold garland and tacking it on right on top. Just be careful when hot gluing this, since it is pretty thin. Instead, you can use some tweezers to help push it down instead of burning your fingertips. Bringing in that white acrylic paint again, I'm going to be taking just small amounts of it and start painting on some snowflakes. I only did a few on the front to still keep a window open to clearly see the scene, and did most of them on the back. And personally, I felt like there wasn't enough faux snow in there, so I decided to squeeze more through the container lid. And as a last minute decision, I'm pulling out the red garland. I feel like it still looked a bit plain with just the gold and the silver on the container lid, so I'm going to add just a little bit more to it. Not just using it only on the bottom, but also adding it onto the top. And my apologies, because I know it's kind of difficult to see the full ornament with the glare, so let's get a few shots with it on the tree. And now with our first project done, let's now move on to the tree. Starting off simply just by removing the sticker, which didn't come off as cleanly as I had hoped. But nonetheless, just to make things match, I'm going to paint the back of it white. Now obviously, this is a completely unnecessary step, but for some reason I just felt like I had to do it. Bringing out the tinsel garland, I'm going to be using both the silver and the gold. Starting at the bottom, I'm going to be using the silver color first, and I'm just going to position it at a slight angle, turn it around, and then just cut it where it meets. And tinsel exploded on my desk. But then moving on to the gold, just do the same thing, place it, and cut. This garland had smaller and larger ornaments, but I'm going to be using the smaller ones only. Also, just a quick note, if you do decide to paint the back, just don't press the hot glue gun onto it. Just hover it, let the glue drip, and swipe it off. Okay, so at first, I wanted to attach these multicolored lights onto it. I really loved how these lights looked, but unfortunately when I tried to lay them on the tree, it just did not look very nice. I really disliked the way that they displayed while hanging, and overall they just seemed too bulky. Okay, so let's just take a breather from the lights then. So let's move on to trying out some decorative bells. These were probably my second most favorite thing that I picked out aside from the berries, but they tangled super easily, so I'm just gonna cut them up. This way it also made it way easier for me to place them exactly where I wanted them. And to keep them hanging onto the garland, I tied them twice and pulled as hard as I could. And after giving all of them at least one more pull, I'm gonna cut off all of the ends. And oh my god, I'm so excited about this tree. Like, I'm already so happy with how it's turning out so far, so now I'm gonna add some small berries to it. And of course, like I did before, I'm gonna cut off the wires and then I'm gonna hot glue them all along the garland. And watch my tree perform a little dance while the rest get added. So the next thing I'll be using are these styrofoam vase filler balls. I really love the sparkly shades of red and green, so I'm gonna decorate the tree stand with them. Beautiful. Now for the tree topper, I didn't really like most of the stars that were meant for the top of the tree, so I just got this tea light holder and gonna cut off what I don't need. And while I thought, well, it's from the doll store, so it should be pretty easy to just break it off, well, I thought wrong. The quality of this tea light holder, let me tell you, the base did not want to come off. Are you seeing me struggle? Do you see the struggle? Look at the bending and twisting, and it did not want to come off. But with a few more twists, it was finally free. I did it. Good job, me. And now I'm just trying to position it the way I need to, because as soon as I lay that hot glue line down, I need to be quick with it. Because as soon as it cools, it's done. Like, I think it might destroy the back if I actually tried to pull it off. So as fast as I could, I just stuck the stick end of the star into the glue. The glue didn't really adhere to the stick as well as I had hoped, so I'm just gonna add some more over the rest of it. And while it's ugly, it's okay, because it's the back of it, but I did use some wire cutters to clean it up a little bit. I also felt like the top of the tree was still kind of bare, so I did decide to add one more piece of garland with the green ornament. And also can't forget about the little sparkly berries. Okay, so now that I put a bit more thought into the lights, I decided I wanted to use the cool blue LED lights and have this for the star. This was a little bit more tricky because I had to take the wire and line it all around the design. The 5 most outer points of the star, I wanted to line the light up with the holes so that the light showed through. And without having to add 1,000 hot glue gun tacks, I'm just gonna wrap it around the outer edges. This way it gave it a cleaner look, and it also helped me line up the lights up where I needed them to be. And for the hot glue gun tacks, I just used my tweezers to help push the wire into it as it cooled. And as I'm nearing the 5th point of the star for the light to shine through the cutout, I'm going to tack it one more time there, and then I'm going to start following the inside design of the star. There definitely wasn't enough lights to go around to put them through all of the cutouts, so I just wanted to do the 5 most outer points, and then the inside, they'll be covered, but it will still give a nice glow. And for the remainder of the wire, I just followed it down and then gave it one more tack. And you know, it doesn't look as messy as I thought it would, but got a big old battery pack hanging down there. Can't have just the star lighting up, so now we're going to be moving on to the tree, and I'm going to be using the warm LED lights. Starting at the top, I'm just going to snugly fit the wire in between the tree and the star, and then start wrapping it around from front to back. I kind of loosely wrapped it because it was a bit difficult to place the lights exactly where I wanted them to be because they were a bit spaced out. And for the battery packs, I decided I'm going to tape them to the back just to make them more secure. I used a ton of scotch tape to secure these guys, but you may want to use something a little stronger than that, like packing tape. And I didn't want to use glue just in case I have to ever swap out the lights. But now let's add some finishing touches using these mini presents and mini drums. Oh, and a slightly larger version too. So for this, starting out with the larger presents, I'm just going to use a tiny bit of hot glue, just small dabs because I don't need a ton, and stick that onto the back. Then followed by a mini silver and a mini gold. And before placing the last present, I'm going to be doing a red and gold drum, just to kind of break it up a little bit. And for the last, a larger silver. Then to give it a little extra something, I'm going to be adding these mini bows. I don't want to peel the sticker part because it may not stick to the present, especially not long term, so I'm just going to cut it as close as I can, hot glue it, and stick it. And now with project 2 all done, let's get a few close-ups and glamour shots. Moving right along, let's continue on to the final project. Using more faux snow, I'm going to fill this entire ornament with it. This was an absolute pain in the buns to fill. Somehow I don't own one right now, but I would suggest using a funnel if you have it. It would make way less mess. Also, I wasn't anticipating it, but this took like 4.5 to 5 bags to completely fill. And also, due to the weight of it, the cap would easily pull out. So due to that issue, I completely glued the entire cover shut. If this is an issue that you want to avoid and you plan on making one, I suggest maybe doing half mini styrofoam balls and half fake snow. Or another option is to not even fill it up the entire way, but I wanted it all to be sparkly white. And while this does not look pretty at all, it's going to get covered and it worked. As long as it functions, that's all that matters to me. Next up, we're going to be using some wired jute cord. I'm going to be making a couple different things out of this, but the first thing we're going to be making is a carrot nose. So basically just keep wrapping it around and around and around and around, all the way until it's at least reminiscent of a carrot shape. And once you have the shape that you desire, just snip off the end and trim the little fibers with it. But to make it look a little bit neater, I'm going to just press some hot glue into it. And for his nose, of course, we're going to need to paint it orange. I'm going to use the darker one as the base coat and then use the light one to add some highlights. And once that's all dry, I'm going to hot glue it to the ornament. I'm sorry, but it's looking so cute already. Now on to the next step, we're going to be bringing out some black acrylic paint. And using that, we're going to start giving this snowman a face. Just adding 2 coal eyes and a little derpy smile. Now you look him in the eyes and tell me that he's not precious. But now he needs a hat. Bringing out some more jute cord again, we're pretty much going to do the same thing that we did for the nose, but for the hat this time. And after getting the general shape of the top of the head, just to make sure that the hat fits correctly, I'm going to tack it and start working around and around again. And for every layer, I did make sure to do at least 1 hot glue tack, so this way it holds its shape better and it's not moving around too much as I'm working with it. And once I got to the brim part of the hat, I just started wrapping it around the last layer that I did. So instead of coiling it underneath, you're going to start coiling it side to side. Also, I just wanted to point out that using pipe cleaners for this part could have worked as well. I did find some at the dollar store, but unfortunately the bags all had a big variety of colors, so there wasn't enough of one color for each thing that I needed to do. So I found this cord instead and decided I'm just going to take this route and paint it. And even with the texture difference between jute cord and pipe cleaners, it still came out pretty well. Even though I do prefer the fuzzy touch of pipe cleaners. Now that the hat is finally made, it's time to paint it all black. I thought about doing it maybe like a deep blue color, and I feel like it would have looked really nice, but as of right now I don't really have a lot of snowman decor in my home, so I just wanted to go with the classic route. So an all black top hat it shall be. Next we're going to be bringing back out that red garland. So because somehow I didn't pick up any red ribbon, I thought it'd be super cute to use some shiny red garland instead. And for on top of that, we're going to use some mini shimmery pom-poms. Using 1 red and 2 green, we're going to attach on what looks like a mistletoe. And to get his hat on his head, I'm just going to use the hot glue gun and firmly press it down. Bringing back not only the red garland, but I'm also going to be using the silver and twisting these two together. Adding a little bit of glue to the ornament, we're going to start attaching a scarf. Just to make sure that it doesn't slip and slide all over the place, I'm going to tack it in a few different places. And I made sure to make the scarf long enough so that it wrapped around at least a 2nd time in the front and that it had a little flowy tail at the end of it. And although he's close to being finished, it felt like it was missing one more thing. Just a wee bit of blush. I didn't have the exact color that I wanted, so I'm just going to mix some very light pink with a little bit of red. And you know what, sometimes I'm just too lazy to pull out the mixing palette, so I'll just do it right on what I'm working on. And I went a bit too heavy with the red, but it was an easy fix. Also off camera, I did make the black eyes a bit bigger, but now let's get in some glamour shots for this snowman head. One last note before some final photos. I decided to start drawing out coloring pages. Here's one of a cozy Christmas scene. If you'd like to buy it, I'll have it available as a digital download within my shop, linked down below. If you guys made it this far in the video, drop a Christmas tree emoji in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this and choosing to spend your time with me. I hope I inspired you guys to craft something festive and fun today. And if you do, post it on Instagram and tag me at the Crafty Bumbleberry. I would love to see it. As always, again, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye!